in addition to raging against leaders in Georgia. Well, Trump ended up spending some of this week defending the value of his real estate empire up there in the Empire State. New York Attorney General Letitia James, well, she claims to have so much evidence of fraud that a trial isn't necessary. This per the New York Times. On Wednesday, Ms. James fired an opening salvo, arguing that a trial is not necessary to find that Mr. Trump and other defendants inflated the value of their assets in annual financial statements, fraudulently obtaining favorable loans and insurance agreements. The fraud was so pervasive, she said in a court filing, that Mr. Trump had falsely boosted his net worth by between 812 million and 2.2 billion each year over the course of a decade. That seems to be pretty huge. Wow. Up to 2.2 billion each year of inflating his value, his net worth. Like this man, whoo, how do you fudge those numbers? And it seems that the Attorney General up there in New York has a fair amount of evidence, which is why she doesn't think a trial is necessary on whether he has been inflating those values. She wants to go straight to damages and how much Trump should have to pay. And let's look at some of the evidence that Attorney General James has. Ms. James's lawsuit disputes the value of some of Mr. Trump's best known properties, including Mar-a-Lago, his Florida estate, and Trump Tower in Midtown Manhattan. In her new filing, she wrote that given the way that the worth of Trump Tower was calculated in 2018, it was overvalued by nearly 175 million. The following year, she said, the value of the building was falsely boosted by nearly 323 million. That is incredible. It's wild to me how Trump is so willing to overvalue up the amount of his properties, but it's so interesting how he's willing to decrease the amount of his weight. Yeah, this man definitely likes to play with numbers. Jordan, do you agree?
Absolutely. The indictment or the booking information out of Fulton County had me laughing for days. Just 6'3", 215 or whatever he said. It was just like, it's like an NFL player's body. It's still really good. But yeah, this shows just how brazen they were in all aspects of the Trump administration, Trump's personal side, his business side, how fraudulent they were, and how this culture of corruption pervaded every aspect of his life, his political career, his business. I mean, this guy is just the epitome of fraud. So it's good to see people actually going after him. You know, whenever we deal with white collar crimes like this, there's always an element of skepticism and cynicism that sets in for me, as I'm sure with many people watching this. You just never really see people who commit these types of crimes face any real punishment, unfortunately, especially when we're talking in terms of finance. It seems like bankers can do whatever they want. Here, I really, really hope this bucks the trend. We actually get an outlier of a result and he faces repercussions, because I know if anybody watching this, you, me, anybody did exactly that on our tax forms or on trying to get a loan with a bank, you know how hard we'd be hit? He deserves the same type of punishment anybody else would get. I'm tired of this two-tiered justice system, so this is a step in the right direction.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. And you're spot on about the two-tier justice system. Seeing Michael Cohen, Trump's lawyer, be prosecuted and Trump not facing consequences was absolute hypocrisy. And so I'm so glad New York is now prosecuting Trump for playing that significant role in Cohen and the fraud that he committed on financial documents. And it's great also to see the New York Attorney General pursuing him for the fraud he has committed on his properties for years that officials have looked the other way. Because if we're going to say that we have a democracy and everyone's treated fairly under the system, my God, we should have policies and practices that actually uphold that principle.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.